They all respond to heat generally. Bleaches can get rid of them, but we try to avoid using that in any residential or commercial, anywhere there's going to be people, because you've got the effects of that as well as the odor of bleach everywhere, which isn't great. And so it's coming up with a way of actually treating these things effectively, efficiently, and as quickly as possible, with as little human error as possible. And that's why our fogging system's utilised more effectively now. And again, that's something that's been around for a long, long time. It's just people haven't seen it. You know, it's something that's becoming more mainstream, and people are becoming more aware. It was on Look North the other day about one of the trains, Transpennine or something like that, I think it was, had a guy walking down there with a fogging machine, just going down the whole carriage. And it brings it into the public view, which otherwise I wasn't massively aware of it in my youth, because it's just not something you encounter every day. So it can look a bit strange to people.
It can also look like it's ineffective, because I think you were mentioning, someone made a comment on one of your social media feeds about it's like just a steam cleaning version of it.
Steam cleaner, we get that quite a lot.
Yeah, so if we look at, because fogging and misting, I don't know whether people are actually looking for, they might be after obviously this video, they might be after the Look North piece of content. But if we look at fogging and misting as two elements, so how does it work, and what's the difference between that and seeing someone in what looks like a hazmat suit, basically just, I don't know what they do. Explain what the fogging thing does.
It's down to the chemicals, basically. So a steam clean will get rid of bacteria and it will get rid of viruses, because the heat, they don't like it. It will kill them. It's not ideal if you're using it around particularly office cleaning, because you've got a lot of electronics and a lot of computers, a lot of very sensitive equipment, and you don't really want to be blasting that with extreme high temperature water, which is essentially what you're doing when you steam cleaning.
It's only in contact areas as well. It's not going to kill anything that's in the ducts or anything that's
right. So exactly. So it's a good method of right there and then. But our product is great because it carries on afterwards. So our product isn't actually a steam, it's a dry fog. So if you were to hold your hand in front of our steam cleaner, not too close, it does get hot, because we use thermal foggers, because we like the product to rise and get everywhere, absolutely everywhere. You wouldn't actually have any condensation or water or anything like that come on your hand, because it's completely dry, which is great because we can use it then on keyboards. I mean, one of the worst areas for bacterial contamination, never mind viral, is keyboards, and they're a nightmare to clean. And you spraying and wiping, when you're talking about products and chemicals being effective against things like viruses and bacteria. I think one of the funny things we saw when the whole COVID thing first kicked off was people all of a sudden started paying attention to the back of a bottle of Dettol. And it said, oh, this kills coronaviruses. And it was like, well, yeah, because they've been around for a long time, like I was saying before. The thing people didn't really realise was, if you look closely at that, what you've got to do is spray your Dettol on and leave it for 20 minutes in order for it to be effective against viruses and bacteria, which, if we're all honest, I don't think anybody out there has ever gone for a bottle of Dettol to clean around a surface, sprayed it and left it 20 minutes to come back to clean it off. You spray, you wipe. So it's that illusion of being clean when actually you've not really removed anything. So our product is not bleach-based. It's a hydrogen peroxide and silver-based solution. So we fog at a concentration of 5%. Now, there were very many studies done, even back in the 70s, this has been around for a long time, that a concentration of 0.5% hydrogen peroxide solution is effective against pathogens within around 30 seconds to a minute. So obviously the concentration we're fogging at is exponentially higher than that. But it's effective almost immediately. So some viruses and pretty much all bacteria have something called a biofilm, which is like a protective little shield they put over the cells, which is what your Dettol is trying to get rid of, and why you need to leave it for 20 minutes, so it can destroy this biofilm and essentially stop the bacteria from breeding. And that's always been the tricky thing to get rid of. Now, hydrogen peroxide breaks that down almost instantly. And then we've got the silver, which is attached in there, which is completely toxic to viruses and the vast majority of bacteria it's ever been tested against. The same as copper is, the same as some of these metals are just, they cannot live on it, they can't survive on it, and it just breaks the tissues down and breaks the DNA structures down and RNA structures.
Is it
so it's like it's very similar, yeah. So it's very, very tiny particles of silver. Now, our machine that we use, that obviously, if you've been looking at the some of the video content we post, it actually heats everything up, and as it comes out, the nozzle is actually a patented thing which statically charges the particles of silver. Yeah. So that actually makes them attracted to surfaces, not only surfaces, but it makes them cling to the surfaces. Yeah. But any biological or pathogen elements there are physically attracted to these silver particles. Okay. So it's almost like it's dragging them towards it, right. Which is a great thing, because obviously as soon as they touch, it's lights out, it's game over for them. Now, that's the great thing about our product, is this silver almost like adheres to surfaces because of the charge. So once your hydrogen peroxide's done its job, that degrades into oxygen and water. Yeah. I remember it's a dry fog, so the water content, when you tell people that and you're spraying it on their electronics and the keyboards, they're like recoiling, horror, it's going to turn to water. But it's only the similar water content as if you're breathing out. So it's very, very minute kind of water content. So it's non-corrosive. You're not going to have any problems with your electronics. And once that's gone, the silver adheres behind and it stays with that charge on it. Okay. So the protective element of ours is if anybody comes in, or any bacterial threats or any pathogen threats come into the building and touch down on one of those surfaces, be it through physical touch or a cough or a sneeze or talking or singing or anything like that, which is now being shown to spread the viruses, as soon as it lands on that surface, it gets attacked and killed by what's there. Okay. So the issue of surface contamination, which is still one of the major ways of transmitting things, is almost removed for any properties that this has been treated in. And this lasts for at least 27 days with one application. Okay. So one application, you're pretty much good for 4 weeks. And you can have that kind of peace of mind that you know that if you've got businesses where customers are coming in, or if you've got an office where staff are coming in and out, lots of people are very worried at the moment, and the well-being around a lot of staff is focused around them feeling safe in a workplace. You almost take one of the major threats away.